Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. I was thinking about all the stuff that's going on, and how myself, many others are on here on YouTube and in other platforms trying to get people prepared in various different ways. Some of the videos are showing more how-to skills. Some are talking about news. Some are just, trying to encourage people, say, get out there and do this. It's, kind of the content that I make. And I understand, and then I based this on feedback, whether it be feedback that you leave online or that you email me or that I talk to people in person. And that feedback is that there's such a big buildup right now of all these things that are happening. It's really making people nervous. And I don't want to say scared. I don't want to bring necessarily fear into it. But, there's definitely people that are scared. Even seasoned preppers, while there may be a part of them that says, I'm ready to just rip the Band-Aid off and get this going. It's been drug out long enough. I think if they were at least honest with themselves, they would admit that there's a little bit of concern, they're a little worried, because things are getting crazy. And it's kind of like, something's gonna, even if you were guaranteed that something bad would happen in the future, and you're kind of preparing for that moment, when that moment's getting close, you start to get a little worried, a little scared, a little concerned. And when we see everything that's happening, and it's not just one or two things, it's a lot of things. It's just a lot of things. We start to begin to see a bigger picture of that this is bad, right? Like, this could become bad. This could go south really fast, and the possibility of this kind of falling off a cliff and just this rapid progression at some point is becoming more of a reality. I believe it's been a couple of years ago. I shared a video clip, maybe a year or two ago. I'd shared a video clip of what's his name? Edward Dowd. He had been a managing director of BlackRock, and he had said that he felt that it would just progressively get worse until it hits a point that it's like a snowball effect. It's just going to fall off a cliff. And then go back 4 years ago, John Kerry was being interviewed by someone, I think, with the World Economic Forum. And this is before Biden got elected. And they were asking, if Biden had the strength and everything to see this great reset through. And he said, you will be shocked at the speed and intensity of it. And those were his exact words, speed and intensity. I remember that. And I don't quite think we're at that speed and intensity point yet, but I think if we go back and we start to line up the dots, we can see the very real possibility of speed and intensity starting to really kick in. Definitely things have sped up a lot. That's clear. But I'm talking getting to that point where it's just a falling off a cliff. And I think that's where a lot of people are really worried. And the reality is there's nothing we can do about that. We have to, what is the prayer of serenity? To fix the things we can fix and accept the things that we can't. And I think that's where a lot of us need to find ourselves being, is that we're doing the best that we can, and that best is relative to each of you. Some of you can do a lot because you have the money or you have the physical ability. Some of you, a lot less, but you're doing the best that you can, knowing that everything that you do, no matter how big or small, is constantly increasing your chances of surviving everything better than everyone else, because so many people are doing nothing. So even a little bit is good. You want to do as much as you can, but even a little bit is good. But it's going to be different for everyone, but we have to keep moving forward. But yet at the same time, we can't get so bogged down in the worry that, oh my goodness, this is moving fast. I don't think I can do this. I don't know how I can do this. I don't know how I can keep up. I don't know how I can come up with enough money. There's all these different worries, all these different excuses, and some are legitimate and some are just excuses. But we can't get bogged down in that. We have to understand that part of the goal, I believe, big old giant horsefly just came in here. I'm sure you can hear him. A part of the goal is that psychological thing to try to bring us down and to cause despair to sink in and to cause us to give up, to realize it's hopeless. And so we have to fight against that, even if we're poor and physically broken down and we just can't do all the things that we know we need to do. Work on doing some things and do the best that you can. I mean, put the very best effort forth. But know that, some things you're just not going to be able to get done. And in the end, the real thing that's going to help us survive, aside from the spiritual, I understand that there's, our relationship with the Father, relying on the grace and the mercy and the strength of Jesus Christ, of Yeshua. Aside from that, the other thing that's going to really give us that ability to make it through it all is just our grit, just the toughness. I mean, that's been shown throughout history over and over and over again, that the people that may or may not have what they need to survive can survive if it's just pure, sheer determination. And that's really where we need to be. And that comes with not being scared about things. You can have some trepidations, but we don't want to fall into this fear. And so when you hear all this stuff that's going on, whether you hear it from me or others, use it as a wake-up call. Use it as a motivation to encourage you to do more and to do better. But don't allow yourself to be afraid of it. Because in the end, we know how this is all going to play out. And while knowing that, we also know that it's going to be bad, but we know the end of the story. And we have to trust that things for you and I are going to be okay. Doesn't mean that we won't go through trials and tribulations, that we won't go through tough spots, but in the end, it'll be okay for us. And that's really where we have to be, because there's so much that's totally out of our control that we just can't deal with. There's nothing we can do about it. And we have to realize that, recognize it, and just kind of, the military term, embrace the suck. Yeah, it's crappy, it's sucky, it's awful. But sometimes we just have to embrace it and use that as a motivational tool to push us even further, not to give up, but to push even harder. And you'd be surprised how far you can push yourself back past what you think are your limits, and how creative you can be about things. And that's really where we need to be, because I firmly believe one of the big goals of all of this with these globalists, with these evil people that are doing this, is that they want us to give up. They want us to lose hope. They want us to not be creative, to not think, to not have any grit and determination, and to not have any faith. And so if we want to stick it to them, if we want to make all of their efforts futile, then do those opposites of those and be determined and have faith and have grit and push forward and not give up. Because in the end, that's really the best way that you survive things. It's not guaranteed, but it's the best way. And we need to do that on a regular basis. It's time to get our houses in order and prepare ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.